You open the laptop, you look at the task, and something strange happens. You want to start. You even care about the outcome, but your body just doesn't move. You scroll. You check something small. You tell yourself you'll start in 5 minutes. Hours pass. Then the thought appears. Why am I so lazy? But what if the problem is not laziness at all? What if your brain is stuck in a pattern that makes starting feel heavier than it should? And once you see the pattern, you can interrupt it in seconds. Not laziness. Many people believe they lack motivation, but the real pattern is simpler. Your brain is trying to protect you from something uncomfortable, so it delays the moment of starting. Imagine this. You sit down to write an email. It should take 10 minutes. But instead, you reread the message 3 times, then check your phone, then stand up to get water. The task is small, but something inside resists the first step. This is not laziness. It is a mental loop where the brain delays action to avoid tension. Research suggests the brain often blocks action when it senses uncertainty, pressure, or emotional friction. And that creates the strange feeling of wanting to start, but not moving. Sometimes the resistance appears even before you sit down. You think about the task in advance, and a quiet tension appears in your body. The brain is predicting effort before any action begins. It imagines the difficulty, the uncertainty, the possibility of making mistakes, so it delays the starting point. Not because the task is impossible, but because the brain prefers familiar comfort over uncertain effort. Once you recognize this pattern, something important changes. You stop interpreting the resistance as laziness. You start seeing it as a protective reflex, and reflexes can be interrupted. There are a few common reasons this happens, and once you recognize them, the resistance begins to soften. Why starting feels hard. The task feels bigger than it actually is. Your brain does not see the next step. It sees the entire mountain. So starting feels overwhelming. You think about the whole project, the whole report, the whole change you need to make. Your brain reacts with hesitation. But the reframe is simple. Your brain does not need the whole path. It only needs the first step. A quick micro-action. Ask yourself this question. What is the smallest possible start? Then do that one thing. Open the document. Write one sentence. Set the timer for 1 minute. Often, the moment you start, the resistance begins to fade. Start smaller. The brain is protecting your identity. Sometimes the task matters too much. If you start and fail, it feels personal. So the brain delays the moment where your ability might be tested. For example, you want to begin a creative project, but you suddenly feel the urge to clean your desk or organize files. Your brain is avoiding the risk of producing something imperfect. The gentle reframe. Avoidance is often protection. Your brain is trying to keep your confidence safe. A quick micro-action. Say this quietly. This step does not define me. Then begin the task badly. A rough start is often enough to break the fear loop. Begin imperfectly. Your brain is drained. Sometimes the resistance is not emotional. It is cognitive fatigue. If your mind has been switching tasks all day, the brain struggles to initiate effort. You open the task, but your attention drifts instantly. So you assume you lack discipline. But the reframe is simple. Your brain may just need a reset. A quick micro-action. Pause for 10 seconds. Look away from the screen. Take one slow breath. Then say, one step only. This brief pause often restores just enough clarity to begin. One step only. The brain is chasing comfort. Modern environments offer endless small rewards. Notifications, scrolling, quick distractions. Compared to those, starting a difficult task feels dull, so the brain drifts toward the easier reward. For example, you plan to study, but suddenly you are checking messages or watching short videos. The brain is simply choosing the faster dopamine source. The reframe. The problem is not discipline. It is competing rewards. A quick micro-action. Move the distraction away. Turn the phone face down. Close one tab. Then start before your brain reopens the escape route. Small environmental shifts can change the entire decision. Remove one distraction. Once you see these patterns, starting becomes easier. But there is also a simple method that helps break the loop almost every time. The START method. Step 1. Shrink the moment. Do not think about the whole task. Say this to yourself: I am only starting. Not finishing, not perfecting, just starting. Step 2. Lower the standard. Tell yourself this line: this can be messy. Perfection often blocks movement. Messy action unlocks it. Step 3. Anchor the first action. Pick one physical movement. Open the file. Write the first word. Set the timer. Say this quietly: just this step. Very often, the brain continues once the first action begins. This happens because action changes the brain's prediction. Before you begin, the task exists only in imagination, and imagination often exaggerates difficulty. But once movement starts, the brain receives real information. It sees the first step is manageable. The second step appears, and suddenly the mountain becomes a path. This is why many people notice something surprising. The task they avoided for hours often becomes easier after just a few minutes of starting. The resistance was never about the whole task. It was about the moment of beginning. Starting is the hardest part. Now let's look at 3 mistakes that keep people stuck. Common mistakes. Mistake 1. Waiting for motivation. Motivation usually follows action, not the other way around. Mistake 2. Judging yourself too early. The moment you think, I'm lazy, the brain feels pressure. Pressure increases avoidance. Mistake 3. Trying to start perfectly. Perfect starts rarely happen, but imperfect starts are powerful. Imperfect start works. If you want to retrain your brain to start more easily, try this simple 7-day experiment. 7-day reset. Day 1. Start one task for just 60 seconds. You can stop after that if you want. The purpose is not progress. The purpose is showing your brain that starting is safe. Day 2. Remove one distraction before starting. Day 3. Begin one task imperfectly. Day 4. Write the first sentence only. Day 5. Start before checking your phone. Day 6. Say out loud, just the first step. Day 7. Start something you have been avoiding for 1 minute. The goal is not productivity. The goal is teaching your brain that starting is safe. Over time, the resistance becomes smaller, and the moment of beginning becomes lighter. If this pattern sounds familiar, write the word START in the comments. It helps others realize they are not the only ones feeling this. And if you want to understand another mental loop many people struggle with, watch the next video about overthinking and anxiety loops. You might recognize that pattern too. And if calm psychology videos like this help you understand your mind a little better, you can subscribe and continue exploring these patterns with us.